Hello there. My name is Chris Fallon. I'm the module leader for this module on building parish communities. In case you're wondering about the background you're seeing, this is not my home. I'm in the Shrigley Hall Hotel near Macclesfield, about to start the annual retreat for deacons in the Archdiocese of Liverpool. I've been a priest for Liverpool for 46 years now, and as well as currently being Director of Deacons. During that time I've done a mixture of parish work and formation of lay people, priests and deacons. I moved from two parishes in Norris Green and Croxteth in the city of Liverpool in 2022 to St George's Maghull on the northern outskirts. And in January this year, I also took on responsibility for the parish of Our Lady of Walsingham in Netherton, 2.5 miles closer to Liverpool, which had already been merged with the parish of Holy Spirit Ford. So I now serve what was 3 parishes with 2 churches, 3 primary schools and a high school, and I don't know how many care homes. This is the 6th time I'm leading this module, which is why I look older now than I do in the photo at the beginning of the module. The first time was June 2019. Just think back to that time. None of us had ever heard of COVID. It wasn't even a word in our vocabulary, and all that suffering and disruption that was to bring had yet to strike us. Now we've been through all that. All the restrictions have been lifted. We no longer get any information about how many cases of COVID there are, and even hospitals and care homes appear to be coping with COVID as just another illness they have to deal with. But it will be a long time before we know the real and lasting effects of the pandemic. Hundreds of thousands of deaths, each one a bereavement for the family and friends, and in the early days of the pandemic, often without the comfort of all the usual funeral rites. Many thousands of people still living with physical and mental after effects of the virus. And there have been subtle but significant changes in how we view each other, how we view our government, and so many aspects of life. Church attendance is one measure we can count. It seems that most of our churches have got back to somewhere between half and 2/3 of the mass attendance we had before the pandemic. Sadly, many of the older people who were attending then have died, and many more have become too frail or too anxious to return. Also, the economic effects of Brexit, the war in Ukraine and COVID, the cost of living. Millions of people in our own country, not just the very poor, are already in food and fuel insecurity. I was involved for some years with a charity called Feeding Liverpool, and the analysis they've done shows that 40% of the people using food banks last year were people in work, but they're in such poorly paid jobs, often being paid less than the national minimum wage, that they can't afford to feed their families. Against this depressing background, there have also been some great signs of hope in the few years since this programme began. In Liverpool, we jumped the gun by having a diocesan synod before Pope Francis called the whole church to do the same. We began with a year of prayer in 2018 and a year of listening to as many different voices as possible in 2019. And eventually we had a COVID-delayed online assembly in October 2021. That led to an exciting pastoral plan, which we're still struggling to implement. And we're at a particular point in the life of our archdiocese. Our archbishop passed the age of retirement last year, put in his resignation, and has been waiting for the announcement of his successor. And just today, Friday the 4th of April, as I'm recording this, we received an invitation for priests and people and deacons to go to the cathedral tomorrow morning for a morning prayer and an important announcement for the life of the diocese. Doesn't take much to guess what that announcement may be. Sadly, we'll all be here in the retreat, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough who our new leader is to be, and who knows what his view on our pastoral plan will be, what new ideas, new energy and enthusiasm he might bring. And the same process of synod has been going on since then in the Universal Church, and some of the documents arising from that process are both exciting and challenging. Even the pictures of the bishops and others sitting round circular tables listening to each other show a huge shift in our understanding of what it is to be church. Your own experience of being church before, during and after COVID are the key resource for this module. I hope that the main discussion forums, which form the main part of the learning, will be a place where the spiritual conversations that lie at the heart of the synodal process can take place. The key to that process is listening deeply to one another and to the Holy Spirit, rather than superficial debate or trying to argue for our own point of view. I've heard two archbishops say recently that the biggest effect of the synod has been the way it has made them listen to others, especially those whose views are different or challenging. This kind of listening is hard work, but it bears rich fruits because we believe that the Holy Spirit is present in and speaks through all people, especially, as Pope Francis constantly reminds us, those on the margins. In this new situation that we're facing, we need to learn from what we've experienced. Tragedies, mistakes, weaknesses in how we organise and communicate, but also the selfless devotion and community spirit that the pandemic called forth, and some bold and creative initiatives, new ways of spreading the gospel and building community, especially through those spiritual conversations. I'm looking forward to learning about your parish communities and getting to know you better, especially those I've not met, although I do know some of you. So please do post your introductions in the introduction forum in your discussion group that you've been assigned to. I hope you're looking forward to this exploration and that you'll enjoy the journey we're taking together. As I've said in the welcome notes or getting started notes, because of the Easter break, you have 2 weeks to complete the first section, but then we'll move forward a week at a time. So I'll be posting my responses to your first discussions in 2 weeks' time. I hope you enjoy the journey. Take care. God bless.